Chapter 4797. That shouldn't be the case. Feng Wu answered without hesitation. After all, Shenhua continent has been to the upper realm before. That's old news. Xiaofan stopped Feng Wu and shook his head. When we went to the upper realm, it was because of the heavenly prison. It was different from the laws of heaven and earth. Ascension is a process of transformation. Who can guarantee that the changes in the laws of heaven and earth won't affect Shenhua continent? Then, fellow Taoist, how do you plan to decide the fate of Shenhua continent's Fortune Gate disciples? Let them choose for themselves. Huang Tong's words hit the nail on the head. She looked at Xiaofan meaningfully. Sigh. Xiaofan sighed deeply. I can't let them choose. Needless to say, no matter who faces death, they will find the dawn of life. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha chanted. So Bodhisattva's choice is to send all the people of Shenhua continent to Dawn Rain continent? To be honest, Xiaofan answered. I really want to, but I don't dare. Sigh, of course you don't dare. Thunderbolt Immortal said. That's hundreds of millions of people. If you send them out, it will be more than all the cultivators of Dawn Rain continent combined. Xiaofan touched his nose and said, this is my confusion and worry. Let's take it one step at a time. Thunderbolt Immortal was also helpless. After fellow Taoist entered the 10,000 demon realm, didn't the laws of heaven and earth of Shenhua continent change? Maybe there will be a surprise in the future. I hope so. In the face of the laws of the heavens and earth, Xiaofan felt that he was like an ant, and he could only resign himself to fate. As he spoke, Xiaofan took the Kunlun mirror from the celestial, but before he could activate it, the sound of bamboo suddenly resounded throughout the heavens and the earth. After that, hundreds of millions of flowers appeared out of thin air. At the same time, over 10 dragons and phoenixes appeared in midair while waves of golden threads descended like rain from above Xiaofan and the others. The space of more than 100 miles was immediately confined. Xiaofan and many of his clones were frozen in the air. Not to mention sound, even their thoughts were difficult to move. Then, in front of Xiaofan and the others' eyes, a myriad of phenomena appeared. Whether it was farmers plowing the fields, mulberry people raising silkworms, fishermen fishing, hundreds of scholars chanting, thousands of Buddhas chanting, or the birth and death of 10,000 countries. In short, all sorts of worldly affairs and the myriad phenomena of the human world appeared before Xiaohua's eyes. In addition to the aura of the mortal world, there were also 2 dragons playing with a pearl, 9 dragons hanging in the sky, and 10,000 dragons dancing in the sky. Naturally, at the same time, a type of incense that Xiaofan had smelled earlier appeared around him. Open the heavens? Xiaofan suddenly realized that the scene in front of him was so familiar. Wasn't this the strange phenomenon that appeared when he sent the disciples of the Misty School to the valley back in the Great Desolate Continent? Sure enough, with this strange phenomenon, the crystal-like divine spark behind Xiaohua's head began to rotate mysteriously. Every time the crystal-like divine spark rotated, it would grow a little bigger. Every time it grew bigger, the golden light that appeared was like a sharp thorn that pierced into the nearby void. Then, everything that he experienced in the Great Desolate Continent appeared again. The strange fragrance assailed his nostrils. The various discomforts that he experienced when he entered the 10,000 demon realm, the impact and comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth, the doubts that arose from the discussion in the Star Moon Palace, and the comprehension of the mysterious Yuan space profound technique brought by Huang Tong were all absorbed and digested by the strange fragrance. The origin of wood, the origin of wind, the origin of thunder and so on also began to completely merge. After an unknown amount of time, keng keng keng. Once again, a series of sounds of bamboo pipes resounded from an unknown place. Among these sounds of bamboo pipes, pillars of Aoran Qi emerged like a sky-reaching mountain peak and frantically fell into the void. That originally ice-cold Aoran Qi immediately became gentle. The Xiantian Qi in Xiaohua's body rushed out like a tide and merged with this Aoran Qi. Along with this Aoran Qi, the cultural history of hidden immortal continent, the cultural essence also entered the Aoran Qi. The Aoran Qi gradually came to life. Dang, dang, dang. For a moment, another sound like the ringing of a Buddhist bell came from the void. In between the ringing of the bell, countless tiny power of faith seeped into the Aoran Qi from the void, and pieces of Buddhist light drifted in like catkins. Namo Maitreya Buddha. The imprisoned Maitreya Buddha suddenly chanted, and the Dharma golden body of the future Buddha appeared. The swastika that had disappeared in the space of the 10,000 demon realm appeared again, supporting his Buddha statue. As the swastika rotated, cracks appeared on the Buddha statue of the future Buddha, and then it turned into little spots of Buddhist light. Each spot of Buddhist light was like the birth and destruction of a Buddhist kingdom, disappearing into the space of the 10,000 demon realm along with the river of faith. Roar, roar, roar. As the Buddhist light disappeared, another series of dragon roars came from the void. Thousands of dragon shadows crazily crashed into the void, and layers of dragon marks fell like falling snow. A vision even greater than the one when Reverend Yun broke the curse of the dragon clan appeared out of nowhere. Inside Reverend Yun's body, who was lying motionless in the sky, a huge Dharma image of the dragon god emerged, and all kinds of auspicious signs sank into the earth and the sky along with the dragon shadow, disappearing into every corner of the 10,000 demon realm. Boom, boom, boom. After the awe-inspiring energy, the river of faith, and the dragon marks emerged, whether it was the natural energy, the awe-inspiring energy, or even the energy of the stars and the moon, all kinds of natural energy crashed into the space of over 100 miles, tearing apart the flying flowers. The flying flowers roared and danced in the air, turning into a hurricane that fell into the bodies of Xiaohua's many incarnations. After the time it took to eat a meal, when the flying flowers were all gone, the sounds, the forms, and even the light and shadows shrank and fell into Xiaohua's body crazily. Clang! The sound of a harp breaking rang out. Dong! The Buddhist bell also rang. Roar! The dragon god's shadow roared, and all the light and shadows and illusions disappeared in this sound. Finally, an indescribable light and shadow appeared out of nowhere in the 10,000 demon realm. It was so huge that it looked like the entire world. It swept across the sky and turned into a ray of golden light that fell into the crystal-like godhead behind Xiaohua's head. When this golden light fell, the crystal-like godhead that had turned into a soybean-sized godhead completely stilled and disappeared into the void in an instant. I'm ashamed. At this time, Xiaohua's body could already move. His face was full of shame as he spoke. He bowed deeply to the heavens and earth and whispered, "What virtue and ability did this Xiao have? It was just an immoral act, but it was actually rewarded by the heavens. This Xiao is really ashamed to receive it." Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha also knelt on the ground and put his palms together. This disciple is really ashamed. This disciple's second transformation golden body will definitely fall into this place to spread the Buddha's light and impart the Buddha's supreme Dharma. Previously, although Xiaohua and his incarnations had high cultivation, their realms were not deep enough, and their understanding of the power of the heavens and earth was shallow. They did not understand the merit of splitting open the sky. Now that they had reached the 10th level of origin power, they had the ability to glimpse the heavens and understand the vastness of the heavens and earth. They had nothing to do, and their hearts were filled with reverence. Now that they had received the merit of splitting open the sky, how could they not know that this was a gift from the heavens? Each of them put away their arrogance and respected the heavens and earth with their hearts. After a while, Maitreya Buddha stood up. Xiaohua and the others looked at each other. Besides reverence and gratitude, they were also a little surprised. Huang Tong asked, "Xiaohua, I did not participate in the matter of the upper realm of the Eldritch continent. However, Feng Wu has just told me that there were no humans in the Eldritch continent at that time. You brought the disciples of the Incense Order from the ruins to the Eldritch continent. Not only did you inherit the orthodoxy of the Tao sect, but you also inherited the fireworks of the human race. Although you did not create humans for no reason, the merit of inheriting the incense of the human race is real. The heavens recognized it as the merit of splitting open the sky and multiplying the Godhead. However, today, although there are no humans in the 10,000 demon realm, but the 10,000 demon realm has existed for tens of thousands of years. How could the human race not appear in the 10,000 demon realm? There is also the dragon race. Although the dragon race does not exist in the 10,000 demon realm now, since the law of heaven and earth forbids the dragon race from appearing, it means that the dragon race used to exist in the 10,000 demon realm. When Reverend Yun broke the law of heaven and earth, he revealed the shadow of the sacred beast, which must be related to the disappearance of the dragon race. In that case, when we sent the human race, the dragon race, and the demon race into the 10,000 demon realm, it should not be considered as the beginning of the merit. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha nodded and said, "What Tan Yu thinks is also what I think. That's why I feel that the heavens and earth are really generous to us." Xiaofan thought for a while and said, "Perhaps there were humans and dragons in the past, but after all, they were all annihilated later on. Now that we have brought the human race and the dragon race into the 10,000 demon realm again, and we have set up a big formation and built a big city, I think the human race and the dragon race will definitely prosper in the 10,000 demon realm in the future, and will never be annihilated again. That's why there is such a strange phenomenon, right?" Huang Tong had never experienced such a rare opportunity, so it was inevitable that he would ask more questions in excitement. Although Xiao Hua's answer was not very clear, Huang Tong felt that it was reasonable. When he wanted to ask something else, Xiao Hua's face suddenly changed. He released his divine sense and looked to the left and whispered, "Not good." Previously, when we broke through to the 10th grade in the Bo Wasteland, the 10,000 demon realm saint ranking found out. Although the Bo Wasteland is remote, the colorful Phoenix King still sent a Phoenix emissary to welcome us. Now that we have achieved the merit of opening the sky here, and there is a strange phenomenon of heaven and earth, we might be noticed by some great saint in the 10,000 demon realm, and it might bring disaster to the human race. How can we just leave like that? That's right. Thunder Immortal nodded and said, "We will stay here and observe the changes first." After that, Xiao Hua and the others did not leave in a hurry. Instead, they hid their figures and stayed nearby. On one hand, they comprehended everything that they had just obtained from the merit of opening the sky, and on the other hand, they were prepared to welcome the possible changes that might come. This wait lasted for more than half a year. This was because there were many records of the demon realm and there were also many names of places. However, there was no record of the metal and wood dual boundary mountain. There wasn't even a name that he was familiar with. That. Big brother, maybe I remembered wrongly? Little White Dragon began to find excuses for himself. Xiao Hua withdrew his realm sense and said with a smile, "We'll talk about this later. Big brother called you out to tell you something. The descendants of the various clans that Big Brother brought from the 3 continents have all been arranged. What do you think we should do about the descendants of the 7-colored sea god shells and your descendants? She hasn't mentioned the descendant of the ancestor. It seems like she doesn't value him too much. Big brother, just do as you see fit." Little White Dragon replied, "As for my descendants, they will naturally follow me. There is no doubt about that. That's the problem." Xiao Hua reminded, "If we go to the Dawn Rain continent, we may not be able to return to the 10,000 demon realm. And you know that the Dawn Rain continent is where the human clan is at its peak. It is far from a paradise for the demon clan like the 10,000 demon realm. You have to decide whether to stay in the 10,000 demon realm or the Dawn Rain continent. Ouch! Little White Dragon wailed, why is it so troublesome? Now it depends on your choice. Xiaofan still habitually wanted to use the word choice, but just as he said it, he thought of the Black Bear Spirit's words. He couldn't help but take it back. After thinking for a while, he said, it depends on what you think. Let's finish the ancestors' matter first. Little White Dragon said impatiently, I'll go back and discuss my matter with them. We'll talk about it later. Xiaofan nodded and said, you go back and discuss it. I'll send the descendant of the seven-colored sea god shells away first. Then, Xiaofan put Little White Dragon into the space. After Daoist Witch and the Thunderbolt Immortal returned, they sent the descendant of the seven-colored sea god shells into the Azure Sea. Then, they looked at the direction and rushed to the place where the Spirit Clan gathered. In fact, Xiaohua's worries were not unfounded. When the heaven-splitting merit vision of the human clan in the 10,000 demon realm appeared, neither the colorful Phoenix King of the Phoenix Shrine nor the Fire Phoenix King of the 10,000 demon realm who accompanied the Swift Cherry Grand Sage from the Hua Tian realm noticed it. However, when the last light flashed across the 10,000 demon realm, in a huge mysterious space, a human-shaped shadow that was originally sitting cross-legged suddenly appeared. This human-shaped shadow was not complete. It was scattered, and there were strange distortions between each piece. Within each piece of shadow, there were different degrees of dark light trembling. As the human figure was revealed, countless strands of bright silver immortal chi emerged from the void and rushed into the shadows like little snakes. A moment later, a silhouette that was several thousand feet tall appeared in the space, flashing with silver light. The silhouette's silver light was so bright that it covered the face of the human figure. The aura that this figure exuded was so fierce and vast that it shook the void until it collapsed. The human figure did not hesitate at all. His hands suddenly formed a seal, and the light shadow that had just rushed through the void seemed to reverse and fell toward the hands of the human figure. However, just as the light shadow fell on the hands of the human figure, the huge hand that could annihilate the void with a wave of the hand immediately produced a roar, and the huge silver hand collapsed and disappeared rapidly. Although the huge silver hand collapsed, the moment the light shadow came into contact with the huge silver hand, layers of overlapping petals appeared. As the petals trembled, the humanistic phenomenon that Xiaofan saw also fell into the eyes of the silver figure through the light shadow. Damn it! The silver figure roared angrily, and ripples appeared in the void near him. The ripples began to explode with the sound, and the entire void collapsed with the fury of the silver figure. Seeing that the huge silver hand was completely annihilated, the silver figure's arms shook, and the light shadow that had returned to the void disappeared again. Thousands of layers of immortal spiritual chi rushed into the silver figure's arms, and a pair of huge hands slowly appeared. However, at the same time, the silver light around the silver figure flashed several times. The moment the silver light dimmed, an unusually handsome face with sword-like eyebrows flashed in the mysterious space. At the root of the eyebrows, a scarlet mark that was much smaller than a green bean was particularly obvious. Who is it? When the huge silver hand appeared, the silver figure's light shadow shone brightly, and an angry voice rose along with the collapse of the void. Who dares to snatch the heaven-splitting merit from the 10,000 demon realm before me? I came to the 10,000 demon realm with untold hardships, and just as I started to set up my plan, someone snatched it from me. All my previous efforts are now wasted. Who dares to ruin my Shen family's plans? In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, everything in the entire space, except for the silver figure, was collapsing and disappearing. When the space finally recovered, the silver light around the figure flickered rapidly again, like the breathing of a person when he was angry. The power of his voice was also much weaker. This time, my actions are very secretive. It seems that no one from the immortal tribe knows about it. Could it be the damn Jiang family? Or the Ji family, Huang family, Hong family, Wen family, or Chong family? Could it be the Punishment Palace? Punisher Heavenly Master? No, if it was the Punishment Heavenly Master, he would have already sent the Punishment Emissary. These Heavenly Masters. How could they know the mystery of the heaven-splitting merit? It must be the Jiang family. Could it be that before I came to the 10,000 demon realm, the Jiang family had already set up a plan in this realm? That Yun Xian Grand Sage and Swift Cherry Grand Sage of the Origin clan are disciples of the Jiang family? If it's not the Jiang family, then which immortal clan is it? How could they have set up a plan before my Shen family? It's really strange. I didn't notice any abnormalities in this realm before. This immortal clan emissary hid too well. Humph. The silver figure sneered again. I don't care if you're the Jiang family, or the Ji family, Huang family, Hong family, Wen family, or Chong family. In the 10,000 demon realm, you and I are equal. Under the confinement of the laws of heaven and earth, our supernatural powers are the same. Now that you're in the light, and I'm in the dark, I will not let you succeed so easily. Then, the silver figure made a gesture again, and as the immortal spiritual power rushed out, the void trembled and collapsed again. Even the silver light around the silver figure dimmed again. This phenomenon lasted for a few months, and in the end, the silver brilliance dimmed until only a thin layer of light film was left. Who? Seeing that the silver brilliance was about to be annihilated, the silver figure suddenly let out a long breath. The brilliance was like a candle being lit, and it lit up again. The silver figure cursed unwillingly in a low voice, "Damn this realm. My supernatural powers can't be activated at all. Besides, the natural virtues of creation are too obscure. The entire world is filled with the prosperity of the humankind. Who knows where exactly this life force comes from?" Ji Hao said with a deep voice. "Snow Wolf King." At this point, the silver figure shouted. The voice penetrated the void and turned into a layer of ripples before disappearing. Unfortunately, after waiting for a few days, there was no response. The silver figure became more and more furious. "Damn Snow Wolf King. Why can't you do anything well? You really disappoint me." The silver figure roared in the mysterious void, and pieces of void fragments were shaved off the surface of the void like powder. Chapter 4799. Back in the day, I asked her to hunt down a little fox, but that little fox was just able to transform into a human form, and she actually lost her. Now, there are other immortals in this realm, and she didn't even hear about it. I really don't know how she, the great saint of the demon realm, is doing. Is she worthy of the Shen clan's cultivation? The silver figure was roaring, and an ice-like light and shadow appeared in the space. Then, tens of thousands of ice flowers that were several times more dazzling than a peacock's tail spread out, and a path of ice flowers extended out in the space. Snow Wolf King's body moved, and he stepped on the snow. Snow Wolf King. Seeing Snow Wolf King appear, the silver figure immediately roared, "Where did you go?" Snow Wolf King's body trembled, and he actually stopped there. He looked up at the figure that was much bigger than him, and coldly replied, "Do I need to report to you where I went?" "You." The silver figure was furious, and raised a hand to point at Snow Wolf King. A silver thunderbolt sealed the surrounding space, and directly struck towards Snow Wolf King's forehead. "Oh!" Before the thunderbolt landed, Snow Wolf King's fur suddenly stood up, and he opened his mouth to howl. A thick snow-colored beam of light shot out, and it hit the silver thunderbolt. Rumble. In the huge roar, the space was split into two. One half was silver light, and the other half was snow-colored light dancing in the air. As the space trembled, a layer of distortion was born from the airwave. The two spaces completely separated the silver figure and Snow Wolf King. Immortal Envoy, are you trying to punish me? The Snow Wolf King laughed coldly as he watched the light of the silver figure in the other space disappear. Dark shadows suddenly appeared and it was difficult to maintain the human form in the space ripples. He could not help but say, I don't know what I did wrong to make the Immortal Envoy so angry. But I still want to remind the Immortal Envoy that this is the 10,000 demon realm. Not to mention the Immortal Envoy's immortal realm, the Immortal Envoy can't even maintain his immortal body. What kind of supernatural power do you have to punish me with? Damn it! The Immortal Emissary scolded and pointed at Snow Wolf King. Snow Wolf King, don't forget your place. Hee hee. Snow Wolf King smiled and said, I am the great sage of the demon realm. This king clearly remembers this identity. Furthermore, I don't have any ambitions. This is different from the Black Tiger. Even if I can't ascend to the Demon League, I can still live freely in the demon realm. You. The Immortal Emissary was a little anxious. She stared at the Snow Wolf King and shouted, Do you still remember what I told you when you were the Japanese emissary? Yeah. The Snow Wolf King looked at the Immortal Emissary in disdain and replied, Of course I remember. Besides, the light figure projected from the immortal realm doesn't seem to be a real human, right? Oh. The Immortal Emissary looked nervous and said anxiously, Could it be someone from another realm? Do you know who it is? At this point, the Immortal Emissary stopped. He seemed to be afraid and did not want to let the Snow Wolf King know more. However, the Snow Wolf King did not care about the Immortal Emissary's avoidance. He replied faintly, I don't know where this human came from. But this human is already on the 10,000 Demon Realm Saint list. I know his name is Xiaofan. Xiaofan. The Immortal Emissary heard and frowned. He thought to himself, as if he was trying to recall if there were any immortal clan with the surname Xiao in the immortal realm. The Snow Wolf King could not see through the Immortal Emissary's thoughts. He continued, Together with Xiaofan from another realm, there are 2 from the Phoenix clan, 1 from the Dragon clan and 2 from the Spirit clan. These 6 are all listed on the Saint list and have become great sages of the 10,000 Demon Realm. How is that possible? The Immortal Emissary did not seem to recall anything. When he heard the Snow Wolf King's words, he sneered, Since when did the great sages of the 10,000 Demon Realm become so worthless? How can there be 6 great sages at the same time? Io, that's not right. Why? Why is there a Dragon clan? The Snow Wolf King shrugged and shook his head, I don't know either. These 6 spirit clans either came to the 10,000 Demon Realm a long time ago and have been cultivating in seclusion. Now they have broken through the limit of the Sun Realm and reached the Great Sage Realm. Or they just crossed the realm barrier and began to break through as soon as they came to the 10,000 Demon Realm. This means that the realm they are in is much lower than the 10,000 Demon Realm. Humph, do you even need to say? The Immortal Emissary said coldly, The realms near the 10,000 Demon Realm are all lower in level than the 10,000 Demon Realm. Otherwise, how could I have come to the 10,000 Demon Realm? But because the realms in the 10,000 Demon Realm are higher in level, it is very difficult for the spirit clans in the nearby realms to enter the 10,000 Demon Realm, let alone survive in the 10,000 Demon Realm. It is very difficult, but it is not impossible. The Snow Wolf King replied, The 10,000 Demon Realm and the nearby Devil Realm, Tao Celestial Realm, Night Spirit Realm also have some unstable realm passageways. It is very likely that the spirit clans came from there. Snow Wolf King, are you reminding me? The Immortal Emissary retracted the silver light around him when the Snow Wolf King mentioned the Devil Realm. No. The Snow Wolf King said firmly, I know that the Immortal Emissary represents the Shen clan, and the Shen clan has the ability to save the wolf ancestor from the Devil Realm. I only mentioned the Devil Realm because I mentioned the realm passageway. That's good. The immortal emissary was very satisfied and nodded. As long as you work for the Shen clan, your wolf ancestor will definitely return to the 10,000 demon realm in one piece, and even ascend to the demon alliance. The Snow Wolf King seemed to have been hit in his weak spot and whispered, I understand, that is why I am willing to work with the immortal emissary. That Xiaofan of the human race. What does he look like? Did he bring other humans to the 10,000 demon realm? The immortal emissary could not reveal his intentions, so he could only ask indirectly. The Snow Wolf King shook his head. I did not see Xiaofan of the human race, nor did I see the 6 Spirit Clan great sages that were just engraved on the saint rankings. Because other than these 6 Spirit Clan great sages, in the past few years, there were 3 Spirit Clan great sages of even stranger origins. I am afraid that this matter will affect the immortal emissary's plan. Unfortunately, before the Snow Wolf King could finish, the immortal emissary hurriedly interrupted him and shouted, What? There are 3 more great sages of unknown origins? Quick, tell me, what is so strange about them? When the Snow Wolf King heard this, he understood that something must have happened in the 10,000 demon realm that he did not know about, and this matter seemed to have a lot to do with the immortal emissary's plan. She did not dare to delay, and told him about the abnormalities on the saint rankings when the demon Lord Shi, the Sky Man and the Witch Priest became great sages. The immortal emissary roared again, damn it, this must be the work of that family. Only they would dare to reach out to the ancient war clan. Alright, if that is the case, then don't blame me for being rude. Snow Wolf King, how is the matter in the Huatian realm? Good, immortal emissary, you know. The Snow Wolf King muttered in his heart, but he did not want to ask more, so he answered casually, the plan was executed smoothly, but who would have thought that there would be a change? I have already reported to the immortal emissary that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage and the Fire Phoenix King have already gone to the Huatian realm. Alright. The immortal emissary was helpless, and waved his hand, let's see how the Swift Cherry Grand Sage will deal with it. Yes. The Snow Wolf King nodded, I have already sent capable subordinates to pay close attention to the situation in the Huatian realm. Chapter 4800. Sigh, Snow Wolf King. The immortal emissary reminded him, haven't you found out who's going against you? Why are my plans going wrong one after another? If you don't find this demon, I'll consider stopping my cooperation with you. Hee. Snow Wolf King smiled, immortal emissary, you don't have to threaten me with this. I don't believe that you didn't consider the other great sages before choosing to cooperate with me. Since you've chosen me, don't think about changing your mind. As for who's going against me, although I'm not sure, it can't escape the Great Ape King, Great Eagle King, and Divine Peacock Mother. Fine. The immortal emissary said impatiently, this is your 10,000 demon realms business, it's useless for you to tell me. The Huatian realm's plan. Stop for now, don't let them know that it's your plan. Now, I'm going to give you a more important task. Immortal emissary. Snow Wolf King reminded him faintly, I've just said that you and I are not master and servant, we're just partners. The things we discussed before didn't come to a conclusion, how can there be a new cooperation? I wonder what benefits the immortal emissary can give me. Snow Wolf King. The immortal emissary sneered, don't push your luck. Back then, I asked you to hunt down a little fox, and you let her escape to the Tao Heaven realm. Although you said that you sent your spiritual pet to hunt her down, and there's no reason for you to miss, I still haven't seen the little fox's corpse, and I haven't seen what I want. Also, what about the old ghost from the Wen clan? I shattered his virtual body, but he managed to escape with a strand of his soul. You know. As long as there's a suitable body, that old ghost can easily be reborn and attack the wolf god realm again. At that time, he'll be in the dark, and you and I will be in the light. How can you deal with him? This matter is so important, but you still haven't found the whereabouts of that strand of soul. Tell me, even if I have any benefits, how can I give it to you? As for the matter of the Hua Tian realm, it's still the same. Now that it's messed up, what benefits can I give you? This envoy has already agreed to your conditions. Moreover, to tell you the truth, the devil world must have already taken action by now. Yet, you still can't give my Shen clan a satisfactory answer. How do you expect my Shen clan to believe you? The Snow Wolf King naturally had the intention of loosening the reins only to grasp them better. Now that the time was right, he smiled and said, in any case, once I complete the new task of the immortal emissary, will I fulfill our previous agreement? That's too easy. The immortal emissary understood what the Snow Wolf King was trying to say. He sneered, you can do it very easily. Just treat it as fulfilling our agreement of 30%. 30%? Huh, immortal emissary, you're really interesting. At this time, Big Brother called you out to ask you to help Big Brother find the Gale Abyss. It can't be. Big Brother. When he heard that Xiao Hua was not asking him to stay in the 10,000 demon realm, Little White Dragon immediately raised his eyebrows and said, why haven't we found the Gale Abyss yet? He. Seeing that Little White Dragon was doubting him, Xiao Hua waved his hand and knocked him down from the sky, and said with a smile, you'll know when you ask. Okay. Little White Dragon's body tumbled through the air a few times, then it roared at the sky and charged towards a certain direction. Wherever the dragon passed, rocks were sent flying and trees were toppled. The weak spirit race cultivators all covered their heads and fled like rats. Huang Tong looked at Little White Dragon and said with some confusion, Xiao Hua, since our whereabouts have been discovered, there's no need to be so low-key. Why don't we just fly out and find the Phoenix Palace and the colorful Phoenix King? Searching here and there like this. I'm afraid it won't be effective. Xiao Hua smiled and nodded, the method you mentioned is the simplest and most violent method, and I'm afraid it's also the most effective. However, I've always been cautious, and I don't like this kind of ostentatious method. Because we're not familiar with the 10,000 demon realm, who knows why the colorful Phoenix King is looking for us? Don't forget, she has already lost hundreds of Phoenix emissaries in order to find us. If she's willing to pay such a price, there must be something more important that she wants us to do. How can we have time to talk to her about this now? We're shouldering the lives of hundreds of millions of creatures in the 3 continents, and we can't get involved in the grievances of the 10,000 demon realm. So I don't want to find them. Moreover, we've left behind the descendants of the human race and dragon race in the 3 continents in the 10,000 demon realm, and we're afraid that these descendants will be discovered by them. If we go find them now, wouldn't it be easy to give ourselves away? It's better to come quietly and leave quietly, and no one will know where we're going or what we're doing here. When they find out in the future, the human race, demon race, and dragon race in the 3 continents will have become powerful, and we won't have to be afraid of them anymore. Donate, and thank you for all your support. Then, he asked, could it be that you didn't ask about the location of the Gale Abyss and instead asked about the location of Spirit Gathering Ground? Little White Dragon heard this and smiled bitterly, how could it be that easy, Big Brother? This 10,000 demon realm is beyond my imagination. I just found the location of a medium demon. It is said that this medium demon participated in the demon level title competition. He probably knows some of the places to compete for titles. Maybe he knows the location of Spirit Gathering Ground. Sigh, maybe. Huang Tong was a little impatient and sighed, this method of inquiry. I don't think it's good. There's no point in wasting time here. Fellow Xiao. Feng Wu also suggested, since we can't find the Gale Abyss, we might as well go to the Hua Tian realm first. After all, this is one of our goals. Maybe when we reach the Hua Tian realm, it will be easier for us to find the metal and wood dual realm mountain. Xiao Hua nodded and smiled, indeed. Although Little White Dragon doesn't know where the Gale Abyss is, he stayed in the Hua Tian realm before. I think the Hua Tian realm isn't too far from the Gale Abyss. That. Hearing this, Little White Dragon hesitated and interrupted Xiao Hua's words. He said embarrassedly, "Big brother, how far is the Gale Abyss from the Hua Tian realm? I really don't know." And at that time, it was Ming Hua. When he was traveling, he passed by the spirit gathering ground and met me. After that, I left the Gale Abyss and never returned. That metal and wood dual realm mountain. In my memory, it should be an extremely dangerous place near the Gale Abyss. Many experts in my clan died there, so I have a deep impression of it. Hearing up to this point, Xiao Hua's heart thumped, and he felt a trace of unease. He hurriedly asked, "Little White Dragon, what you mean is this metal and wood dual boundary mountain was an extremely dangerous place when you were young, but actually, it might not be truly dangerous? In other words, the real metal and wood dual realm mountain might not be there. It can even be said that the jade eye that Grand Mist Ancestor took out is very likely fake. The name of the place is also fake. It's just that it matches the place in your memory. Big brother is looking for the metal and wood dual realm mountain." Little White Dragon suddenly realized and smiled bitterly. How could there be metal and wood dual realm mountain in such a remote place like the Gale Abyss? Also, there is no space passage between the 10,000 demon realm and the three mainlands. How could an unknown place in the 10,000 demon realm appear in the three mainlands? And coincidentally, Grand Mist Ancestor found out about it? Forget it, forget it. Xiao Hua finally figured it out. Recently, he had been in too much of a hurry because of the world-exterminating ephemera of the three mainlands. Chapter 4802. On this day, there was a mountain ridge that rose and fell unsteadily. The mountain rocks of this mountain ridge were all emitting a scarlet-red color. Far away under the bright sun, it was like a burning flame. There was even a kind of scorching heat that was born in the air. Caw! A clear eagle cry resounded from Xiao Hua's right hand. Immediately after, a 300-meter-long eagle flew out from the foot of the mountain. This eagle's entire body was crimson red, especially when it flapped its wings. Strands of crimson flames flowed out from its feathers and landed in the air, emitting sizzling sounds. The eagle cried, and its flashing beak slightly opened. A red pillar of fire shot out from its beak and landed several hundred zhang in front of its head. In front of the eagle's head, there was a several hundred zhang long white python with a demonic cloud under its body. The python opened its mouth and a similar-sized ice pillar shot out from its mouth, blocking the fire pillar. However, this ice pillar was clearly a bit thin. It could only protect the space within a few hundred zhang. Before the fire pillar fell, the ice pillar had already melted a bit. Looking at the white python's body, besides a layer of dark patterns, it was also snow-white like congealed fat. However, at this time, there were many bloody cracks on this snow-white surface. Some of these cracks had already healed, but some were still bleeding. When the blood streaked across the snow-white python's body, it gave birth to a kind of miserable beauty. Hiss! Seeing that the ice pillar was no match for the fire pillar, the white python let out a hissing sound. Then, from the left side of the sky, dozens of moonlight pillars descended. The white python's body suddenly expanded, and its tail turned into a huge ice storm that swept towards the eagle. This ice storm came so suddenly that the eagle was caught off guard. The eagle only had time to flap its wings before it was hit by the ice storm, and like a meteorite, it fell down the mountain. Boom! At the same time, the fire pillar hit the ice pillar. In a huge explosion, the ice pillar broke inch by inch, and the white python also lost its balance in the air. Before the eagle could crash into the mountain, a loud screech was heard, and flames appeared around the eagle's body. A crimson stream of true sun fire fell from the sky and covered the eagle. At the same time, it also burned a deep hole in the rock under the eagle's body. With the help of the true sun flame, the eagle proudly made a turn at the peak of the mountain. Then, it flapped its wings and soared into the sky like an arrow. The sharp beak of the eagle was like the tip of an arrow. In the time it took to breathe, it had already pierced deeply into the white python's neck. Not only that, the eagle's crimson claws, which seemed to be cast from copper and iron, had also deeply grasped the white python's chest and abdomen. It did not use any heavenly dragon speech technique at all, nor did it use any magical powers. It only used its dragon claws to desperately tear the eagle's wings. The dragon horns on the dragon's head desperately stabbed at the eagle's demon body. Under the eagle's claws, the human scarlet flames fell like a fountain onto the little white dragon's dragon body. Little white and this white python seems to have a story that must be told. Xiaofan looked at the little white dragon's madness and understood something. He naturally also thought of the little white dragon's excitement when it heard that it could return to the 10,000 demon realm, and some of the things it said at that time. The little white dragon said that it had some grievances in the 10,000 demon realm that it did not understand. Xiaofan did not ask, and now it seems that this grievances should have something to do with this delicate white python. Naturally, the eagle would not sit still and do its best to fight back. Unfortunately, the eagle's strength was not a match for the little white dragon, and the little white dragon's dragon body was incomparably hard. Where the eagle's claws fell, it only caused cracks to appear on the little white dragon's dragon scales, and where the little white dragon's claws fell, the eagle's demon body was torn to pieces. The eagle's fire pillar fell on the little white dragon's dragon body, and could only annihilate some of the dragon patterns. At the corner of the little white dragon's dragon body, the eagle's feathers fell like chicken feathers. In just an instant, the eagle was already at its last breath. The eagle cried out weakly, "You! Which demon race are you? I. When did I have a grudge with you? You are a powerhouse of the sea, why? Why?" Unfortunately, before the eagle could finish speaking, its demon body had already fallen onto the mountain peak like a stone. Even so, the little white dragon still could not let the eagle go. It actually pounced on the mountain peak, and the dragon's claws were filled with endless anger. It tore the eagle's demon body into pieces, and blood and flesh fell everywhere. The scene was really bloody to the extreme. The white python was obviously frightened. She looked at the little white dragon very puzzledly, and her whole body was trembling. She knew in her heart that the smartest thing to do now was to take advantage of this opportunity to slip away. However, this thought only briefly crossed her mind before she erased it. Not to mention that the little white dragon's strength was far beyond her, even if she escaped. She could not escape too far. Chapter 4803. However, when little white dragon raised its head from the mountain peak, its ferocious dragon head, its blood-red eyes, and the bloodstains on its claws scared the white python so much that it hurriedly threw away the familiar feeling. It moved its body and respectfully landed on the mountain peak. It raised its voice and said, "Junior greets the powerhouse of the sea." Roar! Little white dragon ignored the white python. It raised its head and roared crazily at the sky. Wherever the dragon roar passed, the wind and clouds changed, and the sky changed color. "Damn it, damn it, damn it!" Little white dragon roared angrily. It stretched out its dragon claw and waved it at the blood-stained mountain peak. Boom! Hundreds of feet of gravel were crushed by its claws, and pieces of gravel poured down along the mountain wall. The white python trembled and did not dare to say anything. It only coiled there, as if it was on guard and waiting. After the little white dragon roared angrily, its emotions gradually calmed down. Its dragon body, which had trembled due to its excitement, slowly recovered. When the redness in its eyes disappeared, it looked at the white python again. It opened its mouth, but did not know what to say. Seeing that little white dragon had no intention of attacking it, the white python's heart finally relaxed. It said respectfully, "Junior thanks the powerhouse of the sea." "You. What's your name?" Little white dragon asked abruptly. "Where's your home?" "Me?" The white python was stunned. It hesitated for a moment before answering honestly, "Junior's name is Xingyu." "Junior's home. Senior would not know even if I told you." "Xingyu, Xingyu." Little white dragon muttered absent-mindedly. Its eyes were a little blurred. It looked at the white python and said, "What an old name. It seems to be in my memory, but I can't remember." The white python did not understand what little white dragon meant. It did not dare to say anything and just waited for little white dragon to explain. Xiao Hua, Feng Wu, and Huang Tong were also hiding in the sky. They quietly watched, waiting for little white dragon to tell the story from long ago. "Xingyu." Little white dragon suddenly asked, "Do you still remember a little white snake called Xinghan?" "Xinghan?" Xingyu was stunned, but it nodded after a moment. I remember. "Why? Senior knows Xinghan? This junior hasn't seen him for a long time." "In your memory, what is Lin Han like?" the little white dragon asked hesitantly. His eyes flashed with apprehension. Huan Yu was even more confused. She looked at the little white dragon and thought for a moment. Then, she said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Senior. Huan Han has been missing for too long. Junior only remembers what he looked like when he was young, but now." "Hee, don't be afraid." The little white dragon laughed. "I'm just asking you, what was Zhou Han like when he was young?" "Well." Huan Yu smiled apologetically. "Senior, in my memory, Huan Han is an ambitious little white snake. He often clamored to become a demon-grade expert, but in reality, he didn't even know what the title of a demon-grade expert was." "Oh, that's right, Lin Han's talent is not good, he doesn't know how to cultivate, but he has an unyielding fighting spirit. I remember very clearly that one time, I went to Mount Yuluo with him to look for a demonic fruit. We were stopped by a big spirit of the nearby dog clan. After that big spirit stole our demonic fruit, it wanted to eat us. Lin Han and I couldn't beat that big spirit, so in order to hold that big spirit back, Lin Han bit the big spirit's neck. No matter how many times the big spirit threw him down and used its claws to tear his snake body into a bloody mess, he didn't give up. However, that big spirit was too powerful. Even though it was frightened by Lin Han, it still threw Lin Han aside and wanted to eat me. Thankfully, a big spirit of the clan arrived in time and saved me. But because the big spirit of the clan couldn't carry two pythons, it could only leave Lin Han behind. It would bring me to a safe place before looking for Lin Han. But when the big spirit returned, Lin Han was already gone. I thought Lin Han was eaten by the dog spirit and was sad for a long time. But who knew that 3 months later, Lin Han would come back alive? I was so surprised. I even kissed him. At this point, Shuayu looked up and looked in a direction, as if there was a distant memory there. "And then?" Little white dragon asked with interest. "After that, Lin Han seemed to have changed. Sometimes, he would secretly tell me that he wanted to cultivate to become a heaven-rank expert in the demon realm. Sometimes, he would say that he wanted to become a demon called a dragon. He also said that he would protect me and Gale Abyss in the future. I thought that he must have encountered some kind of opportunity, so I was happy for him and even urged him to cultivate." Ma Yu had been holding back her words for many years, but she was becoming more and more fluent now. Unfortunately, before he could cultivate, there was a spirit-gathering battle where one could fight for the title of low-level lesser demon. I accompanied the great spirit who had saved me to the spirit-gathering battle, and when I returned, I never saw Ma Yinghan again. I heard from the clan that he also went to gather spirit, but I never saw him. Later, I inquired for a long time, but there was no news of Lin Han. At this point, Xueyu looked at Little White Dragon. The pair of python eyes were crystal clear and asked tentatively, "Senior, did you meet Lin Han? Is he still alive?" "Ah, yes, it's been tens of thousands of years. It's rare that you still remember Lin Han." Little White Dragon sighed, "Time passed by quickly and we have all become duckweeds. If I didn't meet you today, I would have almost forgotten that I have a name called Lin Han. Senior is right. Now that I think about it, I and Lin Han." Xueyu answered casually, but halfway through, she suddenly screamed and looked at Little White Dragon in disbelief. "Senior. You are Lin Han?" "Yes, I still remember that year at Rainfall Mountain. Just like now, I desperately wanted to block the big spirit of the dog clan, but I was so powerless. I really hated myself at that time. Why couldn't I be strong? I was really willing to die for you. But I still couldn't stop the dog spirit from pouncing on your body." Little White Dragon looked at Xueyu and said with some affection, "When Lin Hong appeared, my heart became even more gloomy. He took you away and didn't even look at me. Although you shouted loudly, he didn't care about me at all. It was as if I was a pile of mud. So rotten that even the dog spirit wasn't willing to eat me." No. Xueyu hurriedly cried out, "Lin Hong really did go looking for you after that. By the time he found me, it was already too late. I dragged my injured body and left with a broken heart." Little White Dragon calmly replied, "Fortunately, I was originally an ordinary little white snake. Heaven really did give me a chance to become a dragon. However, the Python clan and Snake clan of Gale Abyss didn't believe me. Lin Hong snorted at me. Even you, I feel that if you weren't afraid of hurting my heart, you wouldn't have said those words to deceive me. You. Lin Han, you. Is this the dragon clan you spoke of back then?" Xueyu hesitated and asked softly, "What you said back then? Was it all true?" "Xueyu, I can lie to anyone, but do you think I would lie to you?" Little White Dragon skillfully replied. Then you are now definitely a powerful warrior of the sea?" Xueyu asked, her breathing a little hurried. Although Little White Dragon didn't understand how powerful a powerful warrior of the sea was, how could he say no to Xueyu? He raised his head and proudly said, "Of course. I've already reached the peak of Earth rank. One more step and I'll become a star rank warrior." That's great. Xueyu cried out happily, "Our Gale Abyss is finally saved. Lin Han, quick, come back with me to save our clansmen." But then, Xueyu became dejected again and said softly, "Forget it, Gale Abyss is too far from here. By the time we get back, our clansmen will probably have been slaughtered by the ape and lion clansmen. And I heard that the ape and lion clansmen have sent many powerful warriors. You alone. I'm afraid you won't be their match." "Damn it!" Little White Dragon yelled when he heard that Gale Abyss was in trouble. "Xueyu, what's going on? Tell me." No need to say anything, I'll tell you as we go." Little White Dragon shouted into the sky, "Big brother." "Big brother?" Xueyu was even more puzzled. When Little White Dragon appeared earlier, she had already scanned the surroundings. There were no traces of the spirit tribe. However, when Xiao Hua, Feng Wu, and Huang Tong appeared, the demon race's great saint aura was slightly released. Xueyu was stunned. In an instant, sparkling tears flowed out of her black jade-like eyes. Her huge python body crawled in the air as she cried out, "This junior greets the 3 sun rank warriors. Please, for Lin Han's sake, save our Gale Abyss." If Xueyu was in the human race, she would definitely be a pretty girl from a small town. How could she have met a demon race great saint? She must have used her imagination to call herself a sun rank warrior, right? Just as Little White Dragon was about to correct him, Feng Wu interjected, "Xiao Bai is my brother. His matters are our matters. Gale Abyss is his home, and it is also our home. Time is of the essence now, so there's no need to say more. Just point us in the direction and we'll go there right away." Feng Wu waved his sharp claws, which transformed into a large hand that grabbed Xueyu. He flapped his wings and was about to fly into the sky. "Holy Phoenix!" Little White Dragon said anxiously, "Xueyu is still injured. How can she be healed without taking pills?" "Holy Phoenix?" Xueyu was shocked when she heard this. She stammered, This junior greets the great saint. There's no need for any pills." Feng Wu smiled. With a flap of her wings, several vast pillars of starlight and moonlight descended from the sky. These pillars of light were different from ordinary pillars of starlight and moonlight. They were snow-white like milk, and when they landed on Hoyu's body, it felt so comfortable that it almost made the white python groan. Then, the cracks and ghastly wounds on her body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chapter 4804. Good. Little White Dragon's heart was immediately put at ease. He turned to Huang Tong and said, "Huang Sheng, please take me to Gale Abyss." "Huang Sheng?" Xueyu heard and could not help but feel dizzy. How many great sages were there in the 10,000 demon realm? She had never seen a single Sun realm elite in her life, but today she saw 2 great sages of the upper race. However, Huang Tong did not look like a phoenix at all. She opened her mouth but did not dare to ask. "Where is Gale Abyss?" Xiao Hua looked at the sky and urged, "We don't have much time left, let's deal with this quickly." "Over there." Xueyu heard Xiao Hua's words. Although she could not see Xiao Hua's cultivation, she knew that he had an extraordinary background when she saw him traveling with 2 great sages. She hurriedly pointed in a direction. Xiao Hua frowned because the direction Xueyu pointed in was not the same as the Huatian realm. "Let's go." Xiao Hua waved his hand and lightning surged around him. He turned into lightning and flew in the direction Xueyu pointed. Along the way, Huyu told Little White Dragon about what had happened in the Gale Abyss. Gale Abyss was originally a corner of the lower races in the 10,000 demon realm. It was also the border between the Python realm and the Snake realm. It had always been a place that was not recorded in the realm consciousness. Of course, no expert had ever appeared in such an unknown place, nor had any experts paid attention to it. However, 100 years ago, experts from the Ape clan began to arrive, followed by experts from the Lion clan. When the experts of the Ape tribe first arrived, it seemed unintentional. Then, they stayed in the Gale Abyss for several months. When they came again, they brought even more experts with them. The arrival of these experts began to change the lives of the Python tribe and Snake tribe in the vicinity of the Gale Abyss. Many Python tribe and Snake tribe became the disciples of these experts. Soon, the entire Gale Abyss was controlled by the Ape tribe. Then, the Lion race elites appeared. The Lion race elites were more powerful than the Ape race elites. After a few conflicts with the Ape race elites, some of the Python realm and Snake realm began to side with the Lion race. Thus, the Python realm and Snake realm in Gale Abyss were divided into 2 opposing factions. In the following decades, the Gale Abyss began to experience an unprecedented upheaval. Fights seemed to occur every day, and from time to time, pythons would die in these fights. Moreover, this kind of fighting atmosphere was spreading, and even the nearby Hound clan, Wolf clan, and Rat clan were involved. Xueyu was naturally no exception. In the beginning, she was also excitedly cultivating with a powerhouse of the Ape clan. However, when she saw the bloody scene in the Gale Abyss, she felt that something was wrong. She hurriedly contacted the elders of the clan. Chapter 4805. Sure enough, after flying for a while, a huge lake appeared in his divine sense. Before Huang Tong could ask Little White Dragon anything, Xiao Hua suddenly frowned. Huang Tong and Feng Wu also had strange looks on their faces. The three of them looked at each other, and a thoughtful look appeared in their eyes. Ha! Little White Dragon laughed when he saw the muddy swamp increasing. I didn't expect that I would return to the Gale Abyss one day. Yu looked at Little White Dragon's expression and smiled. With Little White Dragon and the two great saints beside him, the difficulties in the Gale Abyss were nothing. Big brother. Little White Dragon stopped smiling and asked, "How's the situation in the Gale Abyss?" "It's not good." Xiao Hua knew what Little White Dragon meant and replied, "Many pythons died in the lake, and many snakes died on the hills. Of course, the apes and lions also died." Without waiting for Xiao Hua to finish, Little White Dragon said angrily, "Big brother, go faster." "No problem." Xiao Hua nodded and asked, "Do you need me to do it?" "There's no need to use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken." Little White Dragon gritted his teeth and said, "Leave it to me to deal with these little bastards." "Okay." Xiao Hua agreed and looked at Yu. "Don't tell anyone that we're coming back with Little White Dragon." "Yes, Senior." Yu was anxious when she heard that many pythons had died in the Gale Abyss. She didn't think too much about it. In the next second, Xiao Hua's figure flickered as he teleported away, disappearing from sight. Feng Wu and Huang Tong also spread their wings, and a string of phantoms appeared. In a moment, they also escaped into the void. Looking at the Gale Abyss again, on the side of the seemingly endless lake, between the hills, rows of trees had fallen to the ground. On the ground, there were many crisscrossing gullies with broken green vines hanging at the edge of the gullies. On the already messy ground, there were even more pythons and snakes lying crookedly on the ground. These pythons were covered with bloody wounds, and many of them had deep bloody holes in their chests and abdomens. Streams of blood, either crimson or dark green, flowed out from these bloody holes. Not only did it dye the vines red, but it also dyed the ground red. When it flowed into the lake, it also dyed the lake water red. However, in the blood-red lake, there were many python corpses floating with the waves. They were densely packed. At a glance, there were many snow-white corpses floating in the blood-red lake. It was a ghastly sight. On the other side of the lake, between the mountain ridge and the forest, thousands of apes and lions were roaring, divided into two groups. They were either commanding groups of pythons to kill each other, or slaughtering some pythons with their own hands. In front of these raging apes and lions, the pythons and snakes were like earthworms. Boom boom boom. In the midst of the violent winds, the world's Yuan Qi madly fell into the fire pillars, and in the blink of an eye, the entire sky was condensed into a huge red fire array. Those who invade the Gale Abyss die. The Little White Dragon flew over, and Xueyu, who was not far behind him, was incomparably shocked. She could not imagine that the little white snake that was often bullied as a child would now have such a great ability. Moreover, she did not dare to believe that the little white dragon that had previously fought so desperately with the eagle only relied on its body, and did not use today's ability. Following the word die, the light pillars that filled the sky fell like swords of punishment, accurately landing on the heads of every ape and lion tribe member. Compared to, it can't be. The giant ape and lion tribe members were really dumbfounded. The two demon tribe experts looked at each other, and a kind of absurd feeling arose in their hearts. Star expert? How is this possible? When did the Gale Abyss produce a star expert? Unfortunately, the little white dragon did not give them any time to think. Its dragon body swam in the air, and its two dragon claws turned into fiery red phantoms that were several mu in size. They fell from the sky, and its mouth shouted, "It's your turn now." Roar roar. The giant ape and the earth and yellow lion tribe saw that the dragon claw mountain was about to fall, and they both became unruly. As they roared, one of them waved its giant arm and rushed into the air, and a silver-white light pillar shot out of its mouth. The other one even rushed out of its mouth, and an earth and yellow demon cloud rushed out. Its lion claws gave off a sharp light, and it also met the attack. The little white dragon's dragon claws fell, and instantly scattered the giant ape's silver light pillar. Moreover, the dragon claws did not stop there, and hit the giant ape's arms, directly smashing those arms that seemed to be cast from copper and iron. The little white dragon's dragon claws even cleverly pierced the top of the giant ape's head. The giant ape screamed, and it looked like it was about to die. However, I am very suspicious. Back then, in order to eliminate me, a tiny little white snake, he was already so scheming. Today, in this Gale Abyss that is being besieged and slaughtered by the ape clan and the lion clan, how could he disregard his own safety and appear in such a righteous manner? I am very doubtful. Lin Han. Hu Yu immediately stood in front of Hu Jinhong and said coldly, "I know that you now have the ability to sweep through the Gale Abyss. I also understand that you have a backer that other demon spirits can't compare to. However, you can't casually slander Hu Jinhong just because of a little unpleasant memory from your childhood. You killed the ape clan and the lion clan, saved the Gale Abyss, and avenged the python clan. You are the hero of the Gale Abyss." Although Hu Jinhong didn't kill the ape clan and the lion clan, he came all the way back to fight the ape clan and the lion clan. He is also a hero. Really? Little White Dragon was furious. He spat out a dragon's breath like a hurricane and landed on Hu Yu and Hu Jinhong. The two giant pythons couldn't help but tremble. Even so, Hu Yu still raised her python head and said coldly to Little White Dragon, "That's right, that's right. You are a hero, and so is he. All right." Suddenly, a smile appeared on Little White Dragon's cold face and he shrugged his shoulders like a human. His dragon body trembled slightly as if he was laughing so hard that his stomach hurt. He said, "If you say so, then so be it. I just want to ask him what he was thinking back then." Hu Yu saw the sudden change in Little White Dragon's expression and immediately realized that Little White Dragon was toying with Hu Jinhong. She was so angry and anxious that she almost wanted to use her python tail to slap Little White Dragon's face. Unfortunately, just as the Little White Dragon's body shrank back and looked at the python tribe members who had looks of reverence and envy on their faces but did not dare to approach them, Hu Yu felt her python body being pushed away by a powerful force. Then, another wave of scorching heat flipped her over. Roar. Behind Hu Yu, Little White Dragon's angry roar sounded. What's going on? Ma Yu was stunned. When she turned her head around, she saw that the Little White Dragon's body was deeply embedded in a nearby hill. In front of the Little White Dragon, Ma Hong's body was burning with black and red flames. His eyes were flashing with blood-red light as he stared fixedly at the Little White Dragon. The black and white flames dripped onto the ground, corroding a deep hole in the ground. Not only was Hu Yu shocked, but Little White Dragon also looked at Hu Jinhong in confusion. He didn't know why he suddenly attacked. That's right. Hu Jinhong looked at Little White Dragon and said with a cold arrogance, "Hu Han, you're absolutely right. I could have taken you and Hu Yu with me that day. But why didn't I take you with me? Instead, it swept its gaze across the two giant apes, and its gaze landed on Yuan Shihong. After which, it asked indifferently, where are these Python clan members who have listened to your sincere wishes? How do you plan to deal with them? Heh, I know what you want me to say. Hu Jinhong did not hesitate in the face of Little White Dragon's questioning. He smiled and said, you want to destroy my image in Hu Jinyu's heart, but why should I answer? Maybe we can talk after you survive the attack of 2 Star Masters. 2 Star Masters? Little White Dragon raised his head and looked at the Ape King and Lion King who were stepping on the demon cloud. He said calmly, in my eyes, they are 2 piles of shit. Hu Jinhong laughed and said loudly, if the 2 demon kings are 2 piles of shit, what about you? Roar. Little White Dragon roared angrily. His dragon body flashed with golden light. His dragon claws pounced at the Golden Lion King as he shouted, Hu Jinhong, do you think you are the only one with a backup plan? Do you know? My backup plan is 100 times more powerful than yours. Is that so? A mocking smile appeared on Hu Jinhong's face. He glanced at Hu Jinyu and said, then I would like to see who your helper is. At this time, Hu Jinyu's face was pale, even more so than the jade color on her python body. Sensing Hu Jinhong's gaze, Hu Jinyu's eyes showed a kind of disdain, a kind of disgust, and even a kind of mockery as if she was looking at a corpse. Hu Jinhong's heart thumped. Sure enough, roar. High up in the sky, there was a furious roar. A black bear several hundred feet in size pounced out. It was saying some unknown language. That huge bear paw raised rows of black shadows in midair, pouncing towards the silver giant ape. Not only were the trees and corpses sent flying, even the giant mountain rocks were overturned. The thunder and lightning that was triggered by Little White Dragon's appearance was swept away, revealing the clear sky. Great Ape King! Ha! Yuan Shihong suddenly realized. He looked at Little White Dragon and shouted, I was wondering why the Ape King wasn't afraid of my Python tribe's Python King. He even swore that there would be no problems. So he was working for the Great Ape King. Lin Han, I'd like to see how you will face the great sage of the demon tribe. Great Ape King, Great Ape King. The Golden Lion King cried out, it was this bear race and this unknown spirit race that killed the Ape King. You must avenge him. Damn it. The Great Ape King stretched out his body like a demon. He glared at the Lion King and roared, what the hell are you doing? Why are you in such a remote place? Didn't Ape 9 want to give me a gift? Yes. The Lion King hurriedly nodded. 9 Ape and I are here to prepare a gift for the Great Sage and our Rainbow Lion King. But as for the specific location of the gift, we don't know yet. Hearing this, the Great Ape King suddenly realized something. Ignoring the Lion King, he looked down at Little White Dragon and sneered, you're a dragon? Where's the great sage of the dragon tribe whose name was engraved on the holy rankings? Let Little White Dragon go. The black bear spirit flew out righteously and blocked Little White Dragon's path. He said bravely, I was the one who killed the little monkey. It has nothing to do with Little White Dragon. What did you say? The Great Ape King didn't understand what the black bear spirit was muttering. With a wave of his hand, the world darkened, as if the sky was collapsing on the black bear spirit. He's telling you that if you dare to attack, you'll end up like that little monkey. You'll die too. Seeing the black bear spirit's bravery, Xiaohua appeared out of thin air and said coldly. Along with Xiaohua's voice, Xiaohua extended a finger. That finger was like a star, and it lit up the entire sky. Moreover, as Xiaohua pointed his finger, boom. The sky that was originally collapsing suddenly flipped, and layers of spatial cracks fell towards the great ape king's body. The great sage of the human tribe, Xiaofan. The great ape king's eyes flashed with golden light. He spat out a mouthful of silver light, shattering the spatial cracks. Then, he looked at Xiaofan thoughtfully and said, "Great sage of the human tribe." Yuan Shihong fainted. He didn't expect that two great sages would appear in this small gale abyss. Although he didn't know what kind of spirit tribe the human tribe was, when he saw Xiaohua's mountain-like aura and vast temperament, then looked at the great ape king's somewhat fearful expression, he understood that he had provoked a spirit tribe that he shouldn't have. Chapter 4808. As he spoke, Little White Dragon had already activated the Heavenly Dragon technique to block the Lion King. Meanwhile, the Black Bear spirit slowly flew behind the Lion King and waved its two huge paws. Another wave of demonic chi surged out. The Lion King was already having trouble dealing with the Little White Dragon. Now that the Black Bear spirit, who looked honest but was actually extremely cunning, he was no match for it. Looking at the great ape king in the distance, he hurriedly shouted, "Great sage, save me!" The Lion King's voice was still floating in the air, but Little White Dragon's Heavenly Dragon technique had already covered his voice. The Black Bear spirit also swayed and rushed to the Lion King's side. Little White Dragon and the Black Bear spirit were not afraid of the Great Ape King at all, because they knew that Xiaohua would definitely not let the Great Ape King near the Lion King. However, the Black Bear spirit and Little White Dragon were still thinking too much. When Little White Dragon tangled with the Lion King, the Black Bear spirit tore the Lion King apart with two huge paws. The Great Ape King also had no intention of making a move. Xiaohua stood in the air thoughtfully, looking at the Great Ape King and smiling. "Why don't you make a move? Don't you want to test my strength?" The Great Ape King replied, "There's plenty of time to test your strength. Why the rush? Since he came with my 9-ape demon spirit, how can I let him go back unharmed?" "Huh." Xiaohua raised his hand and rubbed his nose. He looked around and laughed. "I'm afraid that's not your only plan." "That's right." Although the Great Ape King looked ferocious and arrogant, he did not hide his thoughts. He said, "Yellow Lion is also the Rainbow Lion King's favored son. This Black Bear killed Yellow Lion, how can the Rainbow Lion King not come?" That's right." Xiaohua nodded. "How can something that can directly present a gift to the great sage of the demon race be ordinary?" Swish swish swish. Just as they were talking, there was the sound of rain falling not far away in the sky. Strands of 9 colors gushed out like fireworks. Roar. A lion's roar that shook the heavens and earth came out from behind the fireworks. Following this lion's roar, all the 9 colors condensed into one place and turned into a huge rainbow bridge. When the rainbow bridge took shape, it quickly streaked across the space. When the rainbow bridge shrank, the silhouette of a huge lion was revealed. Buzz buzz. A low buzzing sound like a bee flapping its wings sounded. Waves of spatial fluctuations and light beams of the moon and stars blasted in. The huge monster body of the Rainbow Lion King was revealed. Great Ape King! The Rainbow Lion King cried out in disbelief as he saw the Great Ape King. After that, his gaze landed on Xiaohua. Xiaohua narrowed his eyes as he growled, "The great sage of the human race, Xiaohua." That's right. Xiaohua nodded. "You are the Rainbow Lion King? You dare to kill my son?" The Rainbow Lion King roared angrily as a 9-colored rainbow appeared around him. "Not only did I kill your son, but I also killed the Great Ape King's son." Xiaohua casually raised his hand and pointed below him, "because they were looking for some bullshit gift for you two great sages. They almost wiped out the Gale Abyss from the 10,000 demon realm." Master. At this moment, the black bear spirit swaggered a few steps forward and bowed respectfully. "This little one has obeyed master's orders and killed those two damn things." "That's right." Xiaofan nodded. "Go and ask the Python clan of the Gale Abyss what gift they were looking for and what other plans they have." "Yes, master." The black bear spirit replied respectfully. His gaze was only on Xiaofan. He didn't even look at the two great sages who usually called the wind and rain in the 10,000 demon realm. Dragon clan? The Rainbow Lion King didn't care about the black bear spirit. However, when he saw the little white dragon, he was extremely shocked. Then, he looked at the great ape king as if he understood something. "Fellow Taoist Yun, please come out." Xiaofan cupped his fists and said pretentiously to the distant sky. Reverend Yun let out a deep dragon roar. Countless dragon runes surged out from the sky. A dragon aura that could suppress heaven and earth rushed into the sky uncontrollably. Reverend Yun's mighty dragon body flew out from the light. The Rainbow Lion King's expression changed. Not only because Reverend Yun's aura was slightly stronger than his, but also because he couldn't sense where Reverend Yun flew out from. This wasn't a common spatial escape technique in the 10,000 demon realm, nor was it a natural ability of the demon race. Rainbow Lion King. The great ape king said, "This is the great sage Yun of the dragon clan." If the Swift Cherry great sage's guess is correct, the top 6 great sages on the saint ranking are together. If I'm not mistaken, the 2 great sages of the Phoenix clan and the 2 great sages of the Spirit clan are nearby as well. What do you think? Do you want to fight with him? Damn it. The Rainbow Lion King cursed in his heart. How could he not know the great ape king's intentions? Moreover, he also knew that the great ape king was in the same awkward situation as him. Firstly, his son was killed. If he didn't do anything, his reputation would be tarnished. Secondly, if it were any other great sages from the 10,000 demon realm, he wouldn't be afraid of them. However, the Rainbow Lion King was facing a great sage from another realm. He didn't know how strong his opponent was at all. Moreover, his opponent wasn't just one great sage, but 6 great sages. He and the great ape king were just 2 great sages. How could they be a match for 6 great sages? Moreover, even if there were 4 more great sages, the other 4 great sages wouldn't fight with unknown great sages for the sake of 2 insignificant great sages from the Ape clan and the Lion clan. Seeing the Rainbow Lion King hesitating, Xiaofan smiled and cupped his fists towards the distance. "If that's the case, fellow Taoist, please come out and meet me." Boom! Just as Xiaohua's voice fell, tens of thousands of thunderbolts descended, sealing off an area of 1,000 miles. Heavenly lightning wreaked havoc in the sky. When it reached a certain point, it fell again, and a Thunder Dharma body appeared out of thin air. The Thunder Immortal appeared between heaven and earth. Hiss! The Rainbow Lion King sucked in a breath of cold air. He looked at the thunderbolts in the sky in disbelief and exclaimed, "Thunder Spirit Great Sage? I am the Thunder Immortal." The Thunder Immortal's gaze was like lightning. He glanced at the Rainbow Lion King with disdain and said coldly, "You dare to fight with this old man? Master." While the great sages were weighing the pros and cons, the black bear spirit flew over and said respectfully, "This little one is wrong." "Oh?" Xiaofan asked curiously, "What did you do wrong?" "This little one killed all the Ape clan and Lion clan that invaded the Gale Abyss. That's why I couldn't find out why they were here." The black bear spirit replied indifferently, "Please punish me, master." "What crime?" Xiaofan waved his hand and said, "What about the Python clan of the Gale Abyss?" "Master." The black bear spirit's face was once again filled with sincerity as he replied, "This lowly one has already investigated. The ape tribe and the lion tribe have already acted 100 years ago for some unknown conspiracy. They've killed the elders of the Gale Abyss. Furthermore, they've used force to divide the Python tribe and the Snake tribe into two factions. About 100,000 people have died from the mutual slaughter. In the past 10 days, they've killed another 200,000 people from the Python tribe and the Snake tribe in order to support a member of the Python tribe called Mahong as their puppet. Alright, no need to say any more. Xiaofan nodded. They deserve to die. This master will reward you later. Thank you, master. A smile appeared on the black bear spirit's face and he retreated to the side. In the distance, Little White Dragon carefully protected Hu Yu. As for the other Python clan and Snake clan, they were afraid of Little White Dragon's dragon might and didn't dare to come close. Ha ha ha, is this for this sage to hear? The great ape king laughed wildly and said angrily, it's just a group of lowly pythons. It's their fortune to be killed by my ape 9. Xiaohua, let this sage see your strength. While speaking, the great ape king touched his waist and took out an iron rod that was more than 1,000 zhang long. Chapter 4809. Hee hee. The Thunderbolt Immortal smiled and rubbed his hands together. Boom boom boom. Several thick bolts of lightning were produced from his hands. When they fell into the air, they turned into several huge dragons and flew in all directions. Wherever the thunder dragons passed, the confined space broke apart inch by inch. The rainbow-colored light that gushed out was also swallowed by the thunder dragons. Rumble. The Thunderbolt Immortal stopped his technique and stretched out his right hand again. The entire space was shaking. A huge fist condensed from 9 heavens divine thunder broke through the air and met the light and shadow condensed from space. Heavens. Is this a battle between great sages? Seeing the firmament collapsing, the stars falling, and the thunder defending against the enemy, whether it was the sun or the vast sun, they were colorless. The entire world only had the figures of the Rainbow Lion King and the Thunderbolt Immortal. Their eyes were filled with endless magical powers, and their ears were filled with rumbling sounds. Just the leaked power pushed down the mountain peak. Just the falling multicolored light shattered the deep pool. Shueyu's eyes were filled with incomparable surprise, and she couldn't help but groan in a low voice. Not bad. The little white dragon in front of her not only blocked the flying rocks and trees, but also built up her confidence. This is the power of a great sage. However, I still have to tell you, everything in front of you is just a test. The great sages and my big brother have not used their most powerful techniques. They will not fight to the death for a few little monkeys and lions. Boom boom boom. At this time, several rumbling sounds rang out in succession. High up in the sky, several parts of the void were shattered by the collision between the great ape king's iron staff and Xiaohua's wishful staff. In a moment, from the void rushed out a chi wave more turbulent than the waves of the sea. This chi wave fell from the sky and set off a gale. Amidst the raging wind, the water in the lake cracked, the rocks were sent flying, and amidst the blood, many corpses of pythons were turned into meat paste. Shueyu murmured again, When can I cultivate to such a level? There's still me. The little white dragon's dragon tail rolled slightly and landed on top of Shueyu's python tail. Shueyu's python body trembled a few times. She lowered her head and said, You're only a star master. There's still a long way to go before you reach great sage. Furthermore, you're going to leave with the great sage of the human race eventually. The little white dragon's dragon tail gradually wrapped around Hu Yu's python tail, and the powerful yang energy caused Hu Yu's python body to tremble even more. Hu Yu was unable to resist the natural attractive force. After saying that, the great ape king's figure disappeared. Damn it! The Rainbow Lion King roared when he saw the Great Ape King leaving without a shred of integrity as a great saint. He was currently trapped by Thunderbolt Reverend's thunder technique, and the whole space was sealed, making it impossible for him to tear the void apart. Moreover, once the Great Ape King left, if Thunderbolt Reverend had the intention to kill him, he would definitely be on guard against his escape. It was no different from daydreaming for him to escape from the siege of 3 great saints. Seeing the Great Ape King trying to escape, Reverend Yun laughed loudly. His dragon body swayed, and thousands of dragon shadows rushed out, blocking the Rainbow Lion King's escape route. Meanwhile, Xiaofan waved his wishful staff. Woo! 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 A ghostly wail was heard, and his huge golden body shattered the void, blocking the other side of the Rainbow Lion King. His eyes flashing with golden light were full of mockery. The Great Ape King's action of dying a fellow Taoist rather than dying was deeply engraved in his heart. Although Reverend Yun and Xiaofan were just standing in midair and did not attack, the pressure they were exerting was equivalent to half of Thunderbolt Reverend. The Rainbow Lion King was a little confused, as if he could see the tragedy of his own death. However, just when the Rainbow Lion King was pondering how to deal with it, woo! A strange sound came from the distant sky. Then, layers upon layers of wind whistled. The wind whistled so loudly and so powerfully that it caused Xiaofan and the others to be slightly sideways. Naturally, Xiaofan released his divine sense and looked into the distance. However, as soon as he released his divine sense, a strange expression appeared on his face. This was because in the distant horizon, the space within several hundred miles had strangely collapsed. The collapsed void formed into strange rings, and these rings fell to the ground. At the same time, around the collapsed rings, waves of energy were generated and spread in all directions. Wherever the waves passed, the energy of heaven and earth turned into threads of crystal light and fell into the void. Even more so, as the energy of heaven and earth collided, hurricanes were generated within several thousand miles, and the 5 elements in the entire space showed signs of chaos. When Xiaohua's divine sense fell into the ripples, it was torn to shreds. Xiaohua was stunned for a moment, then he was ecstatic. He had seen this scene when he was in the ruins. Wasn't it the strange phenomenon when the magnetism was born? Damn it! This Xiao understands now. Xiaohua was overjoyed. The metal and wood mountain little white dragon mentioned is in that direction. Moreover, the metal and wood mountain range also has magnetism. Chapter 48:10 Rainbow Lion King. Xiaohua's loud shout is like a clap of thunder. He shouts, "This Xiao wants this metal wood origin spirit. If you want it, leave your life here. Fellow Thunder Daoist, fellow Dragon Daoist, guard this place. Give Rainbow Lion King a cup of tea's time to consider. If he doesn't leave, kill him immediately." After he finished speaking, Xiaohua's figure flickered and he actually used the metal escape technique. Like a swimming fish, he freely flew towards the metal and wood dual boundary mountain. His speed was much faster than the Great Ape King's. Hee. Rainbow Lion King's face showed hesitation, but he sneered in his heart. The metal wood origin spirit was a rare thing in the 10,000 demon realm. As long as one was fated to obtain it, his strength would definitely increase greatly. Especially for a wood attribute great saint like himself, obtaining the wood origin spirit would definitely surpass the laws of the 10,000 demon realm. Similarly, as a metal attribute Great Ape King, he naturally wanted the metal wood origin spirit. In the face of such a temptation, how could Great Ape King and Rainbow Lion King give up? Of course, Rainbow Lion King also knew that although he and Great Ape King were facing the great saints of the Human Clan, Dragon Clan, and Thunder Spirit Great Saint, once the metal wood origin spirit appeared, the other great saints would definitely come. At that time, even if Xiao Hua and the other great saints appeared at the same time, they would definitely not be a match for the great saints of the 10,000 demon realm. Of course, what Rainbow Lion King thought of, Great Ape King also thought of, but Great Ape King was one step ahead of him. Naturally, Great Ape King would not give in and wanted to compete with Xiao Hua's speed. Humph. Xiao Hua coldly snorted, looked up and shouted, "Fellow Taoists, please make your move." Ga. In the distant sky, a phoenix cry sounded, and Feng Wu and Huang Tong's huge figures appeared. Spreading their wings, they flew through the layers of restrictions and landed on top of Great Ape King's head. Hiss. Great Ape King saw the two great saints of the Phoenix clan appear and couldn't help but be surprised. How can the strength of these two great saints be so unfathomable? The space where the metal wood origin spirit appears is imprisoned, even this saint can't escape, but they are still hiding in the space. How can this saint be their opponent? Damn it! Why haven't the other great sages come yet? Great Ape King. Feng Wu's figure descended, and the brilliance of the stars and moon around him was like a waterfall. The shadow on his demon body gave off a ferocious aura comparable to that of the Great Ape King. He opened his mouth and said, "If you know what's good for you, you'll still be the great saint of the 10,000 demon realm. We're just passers-by in the 10,000 demon realm. We won't leave any trace in the sky of the 10,000 demon realm." Hee hee. Huang Tong did not reveal any power of the stars and moon. However, there was a layer of spatial laws around him that distorted the void. Not only was his figure unclear, but his voice was also stretched out. If you don't know what's good for you, the 10,000 demon realm will have one less great saint. In the history of the 10,000 demon realm, there will be an immortal legend. Damn it! Are you threatening me? The Great Ape King roared. Huang Tong faintly glanced at him. He had already blocked his path with Feng Wu. He said, "That's all you have to say. As for what I mean, you can think whatever you want." Ao. Ao. The Great Ape King was enraged. As he roared, he opened his mouth and a giant whirlpool appeared above his head. The whirlpool was silver-white, and threads of light crazily swam within it. Woo! Woo! Amidst the howling of the wind, countless pillars of light fell from the sky. They passed through the silver whirlpool and turned into a thick crystal light that fell into the Great Ape King's mouth. Wang! Wang! A silver-white light screen appeared above the Great Ape King's body. Within this light screen, the Great Ape King suddenly grew to 1,000 feet tall. What was special was that as the Great Ape King's body grew, his body became transparent. A kind of sharpness of a flying sword rushed out from this transparent silver-white light and surged towards Feng Wu and Huang Tong. Roar! It was as if the white tiger had sensed the golden spiritual energy around the Great Ape King. The white tiger also let out a roar and wanted to charge into the rainbow. Unfortunately, no matter how hard the white tiger tried, its four paws were still trapped on the ground. Similarly, on the other side of the rainbow, the azure dragon was also struggling. However, its tail was as heavy as a ton, so it couldn't fly. Woo! Seeing that it couldn't break free, the white tiger opened its mouth and a pillar of silver light fell into the whirlpool above the Great Ape King's head. With a bang, the whirlpool shattered and the pillar of light entered the Great Ape King's mouth. Wang, wang! The Great Ape King's body trembled and the silver light around his body began to fold. After a moment, there were two roars and the Great Ape King turned into a two-headed, four-armed spirit statue. The Great Ape King waved his two arms and took out his iron staff again. This time, the iron staff emitted a silver light and smashed toward Feng Wu even more fiercely than before. At the same time, the Great Ape King's other two arms were like giant swords that split the void. Several rays of dark space energy fell like spider tentacles toward Huang Tong. Seeing the great ape king attack, the Rainbow Lion King looked around and knew that many great saints were about to arrive. He roared, "Huh, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. This is the 10,000 demon realm. If you want to take the metal and wood spirit from the 10,000 demon realm, then you'll have to step over this saint's body." As he spoke, the Rainbow Lion King's body surged with a 9-colored brilliance once more. This 9-colored brilliance was different from before. As soon as it appeared, it was as if a hole had opened in the heavens. Countless beams of starlight and moonlight fell down, forming a thin void barrier around the Rainbow Lion King. Within this barrier, tens of thousands of stars flashed. It was extremely beautiful. Roar! The Rainbow Lion King opened its mouth, and a 9-colored rainbow bridge charged into the void barrier and disappeared. A moment later, this rainbow bridge appeared next to the rainbow near the Goldwood primordial spirit. As this rainbow bridge entered the rainbow, the roaring azure dragon was also delighted. Boom boom! Several clear rays of light were spat out. These clear rays of light seemed to pass through the void and instantly fell near the Rainbow Lion King. Roar! The Rainbow Lion King let out a low roar. It raised its right claw and slapped towards the thunder reverend. Wherever the lion claws passed by, light and shadows would disappear. Countless pitch-black colors mixed with green filled up the space. Waves of rumbling sounds rang out in the pitch-black, as if endless small worlds were being created and destroyed within it. Upon seeing this, Thunderbolt Immortal dared not to be careless. He clenched his right fist. Amidst the flashing of lightning and the roaring of thunder, a courage that could split the heaven and earth was born. His fist met the lion's attack with the power of life and death. Since the Rainbow Lion King had made his move, Reverend Yun naturally would not sit still and watch. He knew very well that Xiaofan, who had always left some leeway to his enemies, had rarely issued an order to kill. Because in Xiaofan's eyes, although gold and wood were the materials used to forge the wishful staff of 5 elements, they were also the sharp weapon that could topple the 3 peaks of heaven, earth, and man, and also the foundation that could save the billions of living beings in the 3 continents. Compared to the billions of living beings, Xiaofan naturally ignored the Rainbow Lion King's arrogance. Reverend Yun recited the heavenly dragon spell from his mouth. In the space confined by the golden wood spirit, countless dragon runes emerged, and a fierce aura of dragon that could fight against the heaven and earth gushed out crazily. After that, Reverend Yun raised his 5-clawed dragon claw. A golden light that could restrain all evil shone from the claw as it fell onto the Rainbow Lion King's head. Xiaofan did not hesitate to expose his true strength. He asked Thunderbolt Immortal and Reverend Yun to work together to stop the Rainbow Lion King, and asked Feng Wu and Huang Tong to work together to stop the Great Ape King. She retracted her gaze from the strange phenomenon of gold and wood original spirit and quickly greeted the Thunderbolt Immortal. The Thunderbolt Immortal was puzzled when he saw the colorful Phoenix King's beautiful wings flapping. He did not know what she was doing. Beside him, Reverend Yun flew over with a smile, raised his dragon claw and said, "I'm the Reverend Yun." "Greetings, colorful Phoenix King." "Oh, I'm the Thunderbolt Immortal." "Greetings, colorful Phoenix King." The Thunderbolt Immortal was enlightened. Naturally, he returned the favor with a salute. The colorful Phoenix King was overjoyed when she saw that the 2 great sages of other races were amiable, which was similar to what Phoenix Emissary No. 9 had said. She quickly smiled and said, "Greetings, great sage of the dragon race." While they were greeting each other, a huge peacock flew out from the spot where the tricolored true light appeared. The great eagle king flew out from the spot where the void bubble was surging. Behind the pitch-black door, the figure of the rapid Sakura great sage was swaying faintly. As for the spot where the light was spreading like waves, the shadow of the three-legged golden crow had been projected. Seeing that the great sages were about to arrive, the colorful Phoenix King hurriedly asked, "Thunder Sage, Dragon Sage, what's going on?" The Thunderbolt Immortal rolled his eyes and answered indifferently, "We have something to tell you." "Do we need to tell you?" The colorful Phoenix King smiled. Just as she was about to answer, she saw the space in the distance collapsing and the rainbow piercing through the heaven and earth. All of a sudden, a black-white light that was 10,000 times sharper than a sword cut through the rainbow. A murderous aura that was so cold that it could shatter one's soul quickly shrouded the area within 10,000 miles. The colorful Phoenix King was shocked. She hurriedly looked towards the source of the murderous aura. When she saw what was happening clearly, the smile on her face froze. As for the Great Ape King, he activated the demonic core and rushed out of the joint blockade of Feng Wu and Huang Tong. Under the lead of the silver demonic core, his huge demonic body flashed through the space of 1,000 miles. Seeing that Xiaohua had already flown up from the other side of the rainbow, the roaring azure dragon was now flashing with golden light. A drop of blood had seeped in from the azure dragon's dragon horn. The azure dragon struggled with all its might but was unable to stop the blood from entering. How could the Great Ape King not know that Xiaohua had already done something to the gold and wood original spirit? How could the incomparably arrogant Great Ape King hold back the anger in his heart? He roared, "Damned human! Today, you shall die here." As he spoke, the entire space within a few hundred miles of where the Great Ape King was trembling violently. Countless pillars of starlight and moonlight fell down like a flood, crazily rushing into the demonic core. The demonic core flashing with silver light rapidly expanded. In an instant, it was tens of thousands of feet in size. Roar! The Great Ape King roared. His huge demonic body actually took a step forward and rushed into the demonic core. At this moment, Xiaohua had just flown into the air. He was also looking at the Great Ape King in bewilderment. He didn't know what kind of divine ability the Great Ape King was using. Boom! Just as the Great Ape King's figure entered the demonic core, the huge demonic core immediately exploded. In the soaring flames, thousands of Great Ape Kings rushed out from the flames. Without waiting for these figures to settle down, countless pillars of starlight and moonlight rushed out from the void. These thousands of Great Ape Kings rapidly expanded. In the blink of an eye, they all turned into Great Ape Kings that were exactly the same as the previous Great Ape King. Seeing that these thousands of Great Ape Kings had the same aura, the same ferociousness, and the same strength, Xiaohua's eyes narrowed. He swept with his divine sense. Shua shua. His divine sense was already cut apart by the chaotic power of the 5 elements. Forget it. Xiaohua withdrew his divine sense and said loudly, "Great Ape King, you and I are not mortal enemies. I also don't want to be ruthless. This Xiao is going to use this metal and wood original spirit to save the world. It is 10,000 times more important than what you are using. So, this Xiao will remind you one last time, it is still not too late to stop now." Xiaohua's voice was extremely loud, like the roar of thunder in the whole world. Bullshit! Thousands of Great Ape Kings shouted in unison, "I have taken a fancy to this metal and wood original spirit. This metal and wood original spirit is mine. I will give you one last chance. If you don't leave, don't blame me for beating you into meat paste." After saying that, the Great Ape King didn't give Xiaohua any chance to speak again. Thousands of Great Ape Kings opened their mouths at the same time. Silver light mixed with blood light completely sealed the area within 1,000 miles. This silver light was extremely fierce, as if every ray of light carried the fury of the Great Ape King. What was special was that when this ray of light entered the chaotic 5 elements and collapsed space, it actually shook the rainbow that ran through the heaven and earth. Xiaohua's expression changed. Because the power of this silver light was really too great, it was really like thousands of great ape kings attacking at the same time. It was far more powerful than his hundreds of scattered nascent souls. If this silver light fell, not to mention his physical body, it would be difficult for his soul to enter the cycle of reincarnation. Humph. Xiao Hua coldly snorted. Chapter 48:12. The spirit-slaying Yuan light was no longer green and red like before. It had already turned into a yin-yang light. Wherever the yin-yang light passed, everything was destroyed. Regardless of whether it was the chaotic five elements, the collapsed space, or the ferocious silver light, nothing could stop it. Puff puff puff. Almost at the same time, thousands of spirit-slaying vital light landed on the heads of thousands of great ape kings. Without any resistance, the spirit-slaying vital light pierced deep into the brains of these great ape kings. Only a strange crown appeared on the head of a great ape king furthest away from Xiao Hua. It blocked the spirit-slaying vital light. Of course, this was the true body of the great ape king. The great ape king's face was filled with shock as he stared at the silver light that was capable of completely obliterating Xiao Hua. The great ape king retreated like a receding tide, his mouth gaped open as if he wanted to say something. Crack. In the blink of an eye, the spirit-slaying vital light flashed with an incomparably sharp halo. Wasn't this the essence of the world-destroying ephemera king's hind leg? Where the halo landed, it actually shattered the crown of the saint ranking. The spirit-slaying vital light went straight for the root of the problem. Xiao Hua's gaze swept across the sky. Many great saints had already appeared. They looked at Xiao Hua and the great ape king in confusion. Unfortunately, none of them spoke. Kill. Xiao Hua's heart moved. The spirit-slaying vital light intersected. Crack. The great ape king's head fell from his body. At the same time, a huge silver primordial spirit flew out of the great ape king's body. Unfortunately, just like the metal primordial spirit white tiger and wood primordial spirit green dragon, the spirit-slaying vital light was like a nail that firmly nailed the primordial spirit to the body. No matter how the great ape king struggled, he couldn't escape. Roar roar. The great ape king, who had already been reduced to a primordial spirit, was still irritable. He roared and struggled. Ga. At this time, a phoenix cry resounded through the sky. Huang Tong flapped her wings and landed. The great ape king's primordial spirit saw Huang Tong and immediately panicked. Previously, with the protection of the demon body, the great ape king didn't feel anything scary about Huang Tong. However, with the primordial spirit, the great ape king suddenly realized that Huang Tong was filled with an aura that made him afraid. It was as if this phoenix body was formed from the souls of all living things. In the eyes of this great sage of the phoenixes, he was nothing more than food. The great ape king wasn't lying. Huang Tong was originally a phoenix dharma body. She used the netherworld wind to build her body in Mingxi. Then, she used the souls of Chao and I to condense her body. The Rainbow Lion King's primordial spirit was pulled out of the void by the spirit-slaying vital light. Hiss. Not only the Swift Cherry Grand Sage, but the other great sages who had not made a sound all sucked in a breath of cold air. Because in their hearts, they knew that since the Rainbow Lion King had escaped into the void, he would not have used the usual escape route. However, this great sage of the human race did not even look at where the Rainbow Lion King escaped to. He only used the spirit-slaying vital light to kill the Rainbow Lion King. What was special was that the spirit-slaying vital light was a lethal weapon. Even the primordial spirit of a great sage of the demon race was not spared. Since the Rainbow Lion King had cultivated to the level of a great sage, he naturally had many life-saving methods. Anyone would believe that whether it was the Rainbow Lion King or the Great Ape King, as long as their primordial spirits were left behind, they would definitely have methods unknown to others to rise again. However, they had encountered the spirit-slaying vital light. Their primordial spirits were pinned down and there was no way for them to escape. All their methods were useless. As expected, just as the spirit-slaying vital light retracted, Huang Tong, who had swallowed the great ape king's primordial spirit, let out a phoenix cry. As she spread her wings, another wave of demonic aura descended. Help! The Rainbow Lion King, who had not shouted this word for many years, was terrified. Seeing Huang Tong attack, he could not help but cry out. Great Sage of the Phoenix Race! The Swift Cherry Grand Sage did not know Huang Tong's name and hurriedly shouted, "Can you show mercy?" Oh! Huang Tong stopped and turned to look at the Swift Cherry Grand Sage. Are you talking about me? The Swift Cherry Grand Sage saw that Huang Tong had stopped and hurriedly nodded. That's right. Although I don't know what happened here, since the Rainbow Lion King has been killed and only his primordial spirit is left, why don't you let him live? Huang Tong hesitated for a moment and smiled bitterly. I'm afraid it's too late. Oh. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage was stunned and looked at the Rainbow Lion King's primordial spirit. As expected, when the demonic aura descended from Huang Tong's mouth, the primordial spirit, which originally had a terrifying expression, was now dull and expressionless. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage glanced at Huang Tong. How could she not know that Huang Tong had done this on purpose? However, thinking about it carefully, since the great sage of the human race, Xiaofan, had already killed the Rainbow Lion King, why would he spare his primordial spirit? Cutting the weeds and pulling up the roots was also applicable in the 10,000 demon realm. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage sighed slightly. Her gaze swept past Xiaofan and Huang Tong and looked at the rainbow in the distance. Perhaps she was looking for a proverb in the 10,000 demon realm that said, "Birds die in pursuit of food and men die in pursuit of wealth." At this moment, the rainbow was different from before. As the metal elemental spirit and the wood elemental spirit's bodies gradually shrank and fell into the ground, the rainbow that pierced through the heavens and the earth also retreated. In the sky, the 5 elements elemental beasts' bodies gradually dimmed and the ring-shaped waves that fell into the ground also began to fade. Looking at the imprisonment that was gradually disappearing within 10,000 miles, there was no longer any sound in the sky. It was not clear if the saints were afraid of Xiaohua's spirit-slaying vital light, or if they were thinking of how to attack. In any case, the scene was very strange. The great sage of the human race, Xiaohua. The 3-legged golden crow Qi Xian Grand Sage's body emitted a blinding golden light. Boundless heat waves seemed to scorch the surrounding void. His golden eyes were filled with anger as he opened his mouth and said, "I am the Qi Xian Grand Sage of the 10,000 demons realm. Let me ask you. Why did you attack the moment you arrived in the 10,000 demons realm and killed 2 of our great sages? Do you know that the 10,000 demon realm has not lost a great sage for hundreds of thousands of years? I, Xiaohua, greet the Qi Xian Grand Sage." Xiaohua retracted the spirit-slaying vital light. He raised his hand and the sword gourd landed on top of his head. He then cupped his hands and said, "I and my friends have just arrived in the 10,000 demon realm. We do not know the rules of the 10,000 demon realm. We have caused trouble for you." The Qi Xian Grand Sage nodded. His 3 legs swayed in the air as if he was returning the gesture. "I will not speak of the cause of the matter for the time being. However, when you great sages first appeared, you must have heard I's reminder. The metal and wood elemental magnetism is extremely important to me. I am the one who took it up to save billions of lives. I must have it. Since the great ape king did not know what I was thinking, I will remind you one last time. If you do not stop now, I will be ruthless." Xiaohua was not afraid of the Qi Xian Grand Sage's anger. He looked around and said, "And the result? I believe all of you great sages have seen that the great ape king did not listen to my advice. Instead, he stubbornly used his doppelganger ability to kill me. Faced with such a situation, I would like to ask all of you great sages, how would you deal with it? What about the Rainbow Lion King?" The Qi Xian Grand Sage seemed to be holding back his anger. Xiaohua reached out and touched his nose. He smiled and said, "There is a saying in the human race, cut the weeds and dig up the roots.